Did you hear about the filthy egg? He kept going around the place with his yolk hanging out. There you go. That's a joke for you. For you American cousins out there looking in, yolk is a word we use in Ireland, and probably in England as well, but largely Ireland, to just describe a thing. So the egg went basically with his appendage hanging out. Sue, you were in touch with me because you went, I'll get in touch with Mark. This much is true at protonmail.com. She's the only one who ever does. She is loyal, Sue. And Sue, I have a song here for you. I want you to listen to it. Because Sue, it's just for you. You. See what I'm doing here? The hand claps. Just for Sue. Just for Sue. You can see how busy I was this afternoon, folks. Sue, your loyalty and your concern for my welfare is always very much appreciated. Lovely Sue from Yorkshire. Yes, what a fine lass. Ecky thump. And of course Nigel as well, formerly of Birmingham. I had a good chat with you on Saturday. I think I made your ears bleed, Nigel. I always do that. Sorry, mate. I just need to vent on Nigel. See, what I love about Nigel, I get talking to him and then I get all these rich kind of tapestries of his growing up. I feel his options were kind of limited. You don't mind me saying that, do you? I mean, it seems to me it was it the factory, the big industrial factory? So you're a cog in a big wheel, or was it the mine? You know, what were your options? And I get this lovely, rich, big rug, fabricy tapestry when I speak to Nigel. Nigel's rolling his eyes as we speak. Sorry, Nigel, you know what I mean. I do appreciate you. And Mick and Jerry and anyone else who looks in. Tara, I know you have difficulties at the moment and you are in our prayers. So look, sorry I didn't show up on Sunday. 2 reasons for that. Number one, I was tired after the whole scary era thing. Latest episode below in a link. So if you're into paranormal, supernatural, with an Irish slant to it, it's all there for you. My fruits of my labour. I'm just taking a bit of my time. Excuse me. And I think I'll do about 50 episodes, maybe 100, like we did with this, and see what happens. It's taken time. It's not going to pay the bill. It's not going to pay anything. Scary era. It's a hobby. And yet it's got me out of myself because I was chronically insular there for a while. Johnny no mates. I'd see my daughter and I'd see my wife. Maybe Steve would pop over. And that was it. I'm not even going to say months. Probably for years on end, largely. And suddenly I'm interviewing people again, even if it's sitting in here. David McGlynn was in the studio recently. Well, it's my converted. It's not a shed. It's a log cabin. And it was great to have him here. And to do what I kind of like doing. Now I just kind of monetize it some way. But I don't think it'll be on Scary Era. But Era, by the way, is the Irish word for Ireland. Just in case you go, what's he on? Scary Area? Area? That's for my American cousin. Scary Era. It was also a very good 90s band, I think. A rap band. I don't think they're around anymore. But they seem to reform every so often and give it another shot. I could be wrong. So yeah, that has been a bit of a time suck, and I'll work my way around it though, because we're 2 episodes in, and a bit of me is going, I've bitten off more than I can chew. But no, it seems to have a momentum of its own. I've already ideas percolating away for next. It's a bi-weekly show, and it's a matter of pulling it together now. And this week we had a very well-known Irish newsreader. She's been up and down the dial for many years. She's a lovely lady. And she related a story of a kind of auditory phenomenon in a radio station late at night. But the radio station was built on kind of historic ground. Did I say kind of again? I know I've probably done it a few times. Hang on. I'm trying to de-kind of myself. That's what I do. Stop saying kind of. So she was on air late at night. Anyway, go to the link. She's first item up. I'll let Bernie tell the story herself. Then we've a guy who's a bit of a TikTok sensation here in Ireland. TikTok Taxi Man. Very clever name. Neil Murray. He had some little stories to relate as well, in only the way that Dubliners can. So, yeah, that's what it's been about. Do you know, I made another video before this one, and I said I wasn't going to inflict it on you, because I went off on one. Guys. The world is... I don't know about you. I think there's a group of people, and it's probably, if not hundreds of thousands, it's probably millions of people are going in their heads the following: is it just me? Is it just me? Well, is it just me, or is the joy gone out of life? And I think, the key to joy does lie in the simple things. I think the road to the hell we're in lies in this, which is great, this technology, which lets everybody and their grandmother have a few words, but it gets lost in a morass of wanting to be accepted, wanting to only say what you believe to people who believe likewise. Never shall you get into combat. But when you do get into combat with, say, a woke type versus a conservative type or whatever, it's hell. Everyone just starts shouting. It's never been more vicious than ever before, and malicious. And it doesn't make for a good life experience, does it? All this, everyone at each other. And then, even in the Cold War, which went on forever, but there was always a kind of modicum of certainty, because you had relatively cool heads, near the red buttons. And now you've just got idiots, who are being manipulated by, I would say, darker entities or forces. Oh, he's conspiring, conspiracy theorist, bollocks to that. You want to be mad not to think anything else. Of course there are people pulling strings, and there are figureheads who are quite happy to have those strings pulled. It's all win-win, and then caught in the middle are the gobshites, the general public, who don't know who to believe. They want to believe in something, but they don't know who to believe anymore, because it's all chaff. Can I explain what chaff was? Some of you will know if you're World War II buffs. And the British came up with it, first of all. When they would be on bombing raids at night, they'd be going over Essen and, I don't know, Hamburg, wherever. They'd be bombing. The RAF would be... The Germans had a radar as well. British had developed it, but the Germans had a radar system. So in order to confuse it, the bombers carried these bales of metal strips, aluminium strips, and they chuck them out. So they showed up on the radar just as this big morass. The Germans didn't quite know who was coming or going. They couldn't focus their defence properly or efficiently. They didn't know, so they were flying more blind than the guys that were up above them. And I think this social media, these positions, be it woke or gender or whatever, tradition, they're all conflicting like chaff, to chaff up our brains. Our brains being a general radar is what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on anymore. So now, look at me murdered in the green. It doesn't suit me, does it? No. I look like a dirty old, fat, typical, middle-aged dad who drinks beer and watches football. Neither of which I do, but I was on the wine last Saturday. Yeah, which was another reason I didn't show up. Yeah, I had a few. My wife was away, and what I love about my wife is she's got a great network of support, of friends, family. So she disappeared with her sister this weekend to an Irish castle or something, just for a weekend. And she'll be out tomorrow night with her workmates. And I'm Johnny No Mates here. But I had been, and as you know, I had been off the drink and not really missing it. So I had a few, maybe one or two, too many. But I was okay. I was fine. But I was in that kind of poking at the TV thing. Because I hadn't watched it, but I saw I had recorded it. I won't say taped. The National Television Awards or something. And I was looking at all these plastic people. I said, oh, holy God, it's been years since I've looked at this. And her Ant and Dec, 23 years in a row or something. Is it Best Entertainers? Or the horror. Ant and Dec, 23, and that's the best you can come up with. I'm sure they're lovely fellas. Why wouldn't they be? But good God, it doesn't say a lot, does it, for talent agents or whatever? You're only saying that because you're an old fart and you're 61 and you've never achieved. No, I'm not. I'm saying it because I remember variety, and not in the really old variety, but I remember talent as it was. Really good talent. And if I start naming names now, you'll go, yeah, you're saying Bruce Forsyth, you're an old fart, or Tommy Cooper. And yeah, there was a lot of funny stuff. And it was when you could be funny without having to watch your P's and Q's. So that's where I'm kind of going, is it just me? I think we're all being driven mad. And I believe it's deliberate. Whatever's going on at the moment is designed. I can't say boys and girls. I can't say ladies and gentlemen, but I just have. So I'll say people. I'll say I think it's designed to wreck your head and drive you around a frickin' twist. Horn of Africa. Good night, Vienna. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just... So do you? Is it just me? Is it just me? Yes, it's just you. Nah, I don't think so. I think there's plenty of us. Glitter Band, by the way. I play them for you there, Sue. One of them, I won't say he's a great friend, but I have talked to him. John Springate. Lovely fella. Still in the music business. And I had a Skype with him one day. We had a good chat. He was really lovely. And he was telling me, obviously they were maligned with the whole Gary Glitter thing. They were totally innocent, had nothing to do with that. In fact, as he said to me, he used to stay in a hotel. We'd stay in the local motel or whatever it was. You know, he had a limo to pick him up. We hadn't. And then Gary just shows you, he got his knickers in a knot, his glittery knickers in a knot, because they had a pretty good manager, a guy called Mike Leander. By the way, the glitter noise, that sound, I love that sound. And I'm not going to have anybody, I remember playing it once on radio years ago, and somebody going, don't be playing that pervert. Now, hold on a second. I can determine, or I can differentiate between the singer and the song, unlike you, Muppet, right? So I happen to think some of the glitter stuff, that noise, was very good. You know, it's very, very unique. And Mike Leander was their manager. He's passed. And everything, the key to the glitter sound was it's all tuned to A. And then they had this distinct hand claps as well, which I think they must have put an effect on. And in fact, one of the glitter band were all doing their one day, and one of them said, God, how many takes have we done? My hands are getting sore. And Mike Leander said, every time you clap, just think it's earning money for you. Just think of the money you're earning every time you do that. So the other thing was the two drummers. You had two drummers. Now, there was another band, helped me out here, in the 70s that had two drummers as well. I'm trying to think. There was a bit of a thing for it at one point. Of course, Adam and the Ants, I think they had it as well, but that was maybe a decade later. Do you really want to know all this? No, Mark. We just want to say goodnight and thanks for showing up in your lavish loud green shirt. And would you piss off now because you're going around in verbal circles of ever-decreasing diarrhea? And I say, I've got another crap joke for you. I went to the butcher the other day, and I said, "Can I have £2 of bacon, please?" And he said to me, "Lean back." And I said, "Can I have £2 of bacon, please?" So will we finish like the 1970s thing? Anyway, thanks, Sue, for everything. Folks, like and subscribe if you're getting anything out of these. Even if you want to complain, you know where the comments are. Or please surprise me and tell me something we can talk about. Share with me. Just do it. Challenge yourself. Email thismuchistrue@protonmail.com, because Sue puts to shame on all the rest of you. Thismuchistrue@protonmail.com. Okay, we're going to end up in the 1970s, the way we freeze frame traditionally here now. So and then I said to John, the car turned upside down and its wheels kept turning.